Hello guys, this is teacher Anne and today we'll be looking at area of a sector. But before we look at the examples, I want us to define some of these terms that are commonly used when dealing with circles. So we have radius, diameter, arc, sector, chord, and segment. So let us start with before that, there is another one I'm forgetting. We also have circumference. So I am going to be drawing the circles and then showing you what each term means. So the first one, now this is the circle that I'm going to be using to explain what a circle is. So if you move from point A and go all around the circle and come back to point A, that distance is going to be referred to as the circumference. The second term I'm going to explain is an arc. So if you have a distance from point A to point B and you move from point A to point B, that distance is known as an arc. An arc is basically just the portion or a portion of a circumference, not the whole circumference, just a small portion from one point A to another point B. The next term we are going to look at is diameter. Now, what is a diameter? If you have a circle and then you have the center O, we then draw a line from point A on a circumference to point B on a circumference, passing through center O. This line AB will be known as the diameter. The next one is a circle. Sorry, not a circle. The next one is a radius. So we have a circle and then we have a point A on the circumference and we have our center O. So if you draw a line from point A to point O, this is a radius. Now back to the diameter. The diameter is a line from point A to point B on the circumference of a circle. It passes through the center and it divides a circle into two equal halves. The radius is half of the diameter. So we have looked at circumference, we have looked at radius, diameter, and arc. The next one I want us to look at is chord. So this is a chord. If you have a circle and then you have a point A on the circumference, drawing a line to a point B, this is a chord. Now, what is the difference between a chord and a diameter? A diameter passes at the center, through the center of a circle. The diameter passes through the center of a circle and it divides the circle into two equal halves. A chord does not pass through the diameter of a circle and it does not divide a circle into equal halves. That is the difference. The diameter crosses through the center. The chord does not go through the center. So then after that, we have a segment. A segment. So let us draw our circle. Then we will have our chord. Now, a chord divides a circle into two parts. These two parts are what we refer to as a segment. The small one will be the minor segment and the large one will be the major segment. we have the minor segment and the major segment. So now we have looked at the chord and the segment. The last thing remaining is a sector. What is a sector? So for a sector, let us draw our circle and then we have our center O. To have a sector, you're going to draw two radii, that is the plural of radius. So we have radius 1 and we have radius 2. Now, this is the minor sector and this is the major sector. We have the minor sector and the major sector being formed by an arc and two radii. The segment is being formed by the chord. So that is what all these terms mean. You can just take a moment to look at each and every illustration. Now let us look at the examples. So we say that we are looking at area of a sector. Now, the first example we are being asked, an arc of a circle of radius 7 centimeters subtends an angle of 144 degrees at the center. Calculate the area of the sector formed. So area of a sector is found using the formula theta over 360 times pi r squared, where theta is the angle subtended at the sector, pi is 22 over 7, and r is the radius. So let us write what we have. Theta is 144 degrees. Pi is a constant that does not change, 22 over 7. Or a question can specify that you use 3.142. And then the radius we have as 7 centimeters. So let us calculate that. You will have 144 over 360 times 22 over 7 times 7 times 7. We are taking 7 twice because this is basically 7 squared. Now let us work that out. 7 will cancel these ones and these ones, so that we have 144 over 360 times 22 times 7. If you work this out, 140 over 360 times 22 times 7, you will get 61.6. And what were the units? The units were centimeters. So the area is going to be in centimeters squared. That is the first example. The second one, you are told the wiper of a bus can sweep the windscreen as shown below. So we have the arc there, but there is a hole in that arc. So this is going to give us something called an annular sector where there is a hole at the center. So this means that we are going to be subtracting the two radii that we have been given. You're told to find the area of the region swept by the wiper. So we are looking for this region. That is the area that we're looking for. Remember, we are supposed to leave out this part. Now, this is how you are going to calculate that area. We know that area of a sector is equal to theta over 360 times pi r squared. Now, what you're going to do here for the annular sector is to take area is equal to theta over 360 times pi into r squared minus r squared. That is what you're going to do. So let us gather all the information that we have. Our theta is 120 degrees. We have 120 there. So you will write 120 all over 360 times pi is 22 over 7 times what is the larger radius? The larger radius is 0.84 squared minus the smaller radius is 0.14 squared. Now let us work this out. You will have 120 over 360 times 22 over 7 into 0.7056 minus 0.0196. This will give you 120 all over 360 times 22 over 7 into 0.686. Now if you work that out, if you work everything out, you are going to get 0.7186. What was the unit? The unit was in, I don't know why it's blurring, but the unit was in meters. So that is going to be in square meters. In square meters. So that is what we have done there. So this is in 4 decimal places. If you've been asked to round off to 2 decimal places, then that would be 0.72 square meters. Remember, if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section.